Oh boy, we have somebody that a lot of you guys have actually asked me to look at. And this was a long time ago. And me and my editor are just two people. This slipped through the cracks. So it kind of died down. People weren't really talking about this person anymore. So I kind of was like, okay, maybe it's like a done deal. No, it's because they rebranded. That's why I haven't heard anything about them in a minute. But they're back on their shenanigans again. So let's delve into the situation with artist Alexis.dgbn, or previously known as Ari Kushisu. So this was posted by an account on Threads called Bookish Scammers Referral, writing, "So this artist is super big, red flag, and why I think you should run." It reads, "Why I think Alexis uses AI and scams people. Alleged AI usage and enhancement. Buckle up, there's a lot to say." And again, I just want to add, don't send hate, don't bully anybody. That's not what this is about. It's for awareness because there are people who are commissioning this person, and not everybody may know of this person's past history as Ari Kushisu. It reads, "Disclaimer, this post is a compilation of proofs. The goal is simply to warn others, whether you choose to believe it or not, commission this person or not, it's your own decision. This is not a call to harassment. That's all you and I need. Do not comment on this person's account or send them bad DMs. A theory works with many proofs. A mistake on its own is just that, a mistake. Too many AI tells at once, though. I will let you decide." And that's the thing. At the end of the day, right, a lot of these things that's like, oh, this looks AI generated. A lot of it can be human error. So we want to look at everything as a whole. But again, this person has gone under a previous alias that has experienced a lot of call outs. So it reads, "It all started with this post for me. No hate to this author. She truly thinks this artist is legit." And again, I just want to add, don't dog on the person commissioning the artist, right? A lot of times when people commission artists, it's because they aren't artists. And a lot of times, you want to believe the artist. If the artist gives you work and it's like, yeah, I made this myself, you're like, cool. Thank you. Love to support human made art. And if you're not an artist, you may not be able to spot all of the errors in the art piece that really point towards the fact that it probably is AI generated or AI assisted in some way. So I don't want people dogging on the people commissioning, right? Because now if you know and you still commission, that's on you. But many of these people don't know. So it reads, "Let's analyze this commission first. I won't even bother to mention the same face syndrome from AI." That one's a big one. "All men generated have this uncanny valley generic look to them, but okay, moving on from that. First of all, none of the tattoos make sense. None." By the way, that is a big one. When it comes to these hot, bookish, tatted men, a big tell you can kind of tell if it's AI generated or not is what's happening with the tattoos. Because when a human artist draws, they draw stuff that they would draw. So they'd be like, okay, here's a skull. Well, I'm going to draw some smoke, and then I'm going to draw some bones over here, and then I'm going to connect it all with some, lines, and it's going to look cool. AI, obviously, is just generating slop. So none of it would make sense. Here, our skull has a fang in the eyeball. There are actually two nose holes, the main hole in the skull for the nose, and there's a second one actually under the eye socket for some reason. And this person has uneven teeth. You know how your teeth, ate roughly for the most part, lines up in the middle? We got two front teeth. Yeah, we got one front tooth. And then everything is off-centered from there because that makes sense. I actually knew somebody's mom actually that I knew had teeth like that. But you rarely would draw this on a skeleton. But if the two nose holes didn't convince you, maybe that would. But not to mention the absolute garbled garbage going on around the skull. Because what is this? And it reads, "All the skulls are morphing. The shapes on the sides are super abstract. There are 6 tally marks." Oh, bro doesn't know how to draw a tally correct. Dude, you need to fire a tattoo artist, bro. They botched you. It continues, "If you're gonna put that amount of detail in a piece, you would properly structure things, plan it out as it should, like real tattoos." Yeah, like, look at some reference photos or something. Secondly, anatomy mistakes happen. That could be human error, but that ear has nothing to do here at this angle. Oh, bro's ear fell off. My point on the tattoo made earlier still stands as well. None of those are making sense. And if you look closer, the neck tattoo changes a lot from image A to image B. Why would somebody bother to redraw this whole complex thing? Even professional artists would copy and paste and adjust for simplicity, coherence. Yeah, you would, use the liquify tool, move it a little bit and call it a day. There's this like gesture blob getting sucked into the void over here. And then all of a sudden, in the second image, it becomes a woman's scary face. Right in the middle, there is a skull with a hood. Notably, the skull has cataracts because one eye is fogging up. And then in the second image, suddenly it's all cleaned up. The skull is way more HD, and that cataract has faded into a tiny little dot. By the way, he also somehow got a crown. It says, "Next up, If that wasn't enough, we can take a look at his Instagram page, which is more telling. Right off the bat, I noticed that Alexis draws things sometimes twice, maybe even thrice, and it's not refining. Some posts read, recent inkings in the caption, where the art can be seen sometimes with very fresh, shiny ink on it. We're then to assume some of Alexis's art is traditional art on paper, which we'll get back to. Given this example, maybe he refines indeed. Nope, this one was posted after. These two are not the same. The bottom character is more refined in the earlier piece, and then after the character is less refined. And somehow the guy has different pants, the other guy. Also, these two guys aren't the same. Like the waist is more snatched on this guy than it is on this dude. Bro went to some Pilates. And it reads, usually when an artist draws 3, 4, 5 times the same character, they know them by heart. Tell me why Alexis forgot where the arms stop for this piece, especially given that this is a canon event in the original media Berserk, and such a huge design point, highlighting the arm. Next up, we have 2 sketches, and it reads, those are 2 entirely different sketches, not the same pose, angle, or even the space it takes on the sketchbook. Yep, this one is bigger. And yet, exact same building lines for the arm. Not just as a method, the exact same ones. An extra point, every sketchbook picture shows the same page of the sketchbook, with the stitches. Not every page is supposed to have stitches. Because yeah, only like a few pages have stitches. And you can see the sketches overlapped. How are they overlapping the exact same if you sketched it? There are ways you could do it with like, the screen and stuff like that, but like, that's not very common for just like a sketch like this where you're posting. Oh, here we have March 18, a recent inking, and then April 13, a recent sketch. And it says also again, the sketch doesn't land the same on the page. Look at Girly's hand. Because yeah, for these two, the hand comes off the page into the page on the left. And in this recent inking, the hand is actually, for the most part, except the tip of a fingernail, on the same page. And it says, do I believe that an artist can sketch multiple times before getting to a result? Yes, of course, I've done it, you've done it, and even as an author, you've done it. Do I believe those are traditional sketches and inking? Nope, absolutely not. You cannot reproduce twice the exact same lines. Even that inking is off. Whether he used Chinese ink or watercolor, those 2 mediums are very sensitive to the graphite you could leave below. And why and how could he follow the exact same values he put down in the sketch he made nearly a month later? It makes no sense. So what do I think happened? AI, simply shortly AI. I don't know if Alexis did give an initial sketch or not. As we can see earlier on his account, he can draw. And he also definitely uses AI. Generate a sketch, then sketch based on sketch, then render based on sketch, then sketch based on render probably, given that bathtub turned into a sea. Because yeah, here, he's in a bathtub. Now he's in an ocean. So here it says, why is the portrait on the right more refined than the portrait on the left? The hair, the dress. It is at this point impossible to know which one comes first. My theory is that both are different iterations of the same prompt. Because yeah, okay, what is interesting is if you look at the portrait on the right, the image on the right is more fleshed out, more rendered out than the image on the left. But the image on the right still contains all the guidelines, which is gone for the image on the left, which would imply the left is the finished product. But that can't be right because the image on the right is more rendered than the image on the left. So you would erase all the guidelines and all the rendering for some reason. And again, these are not the same images. The woman's head in this image is a little bit smaller and tilted a little bit more than the woman here. And now here we have a 02 image, where it says, the reflection in the sketch is more refined than the inked version. So are the tiles, which stays in the sketch, but different sketches. Lost their shape, consistency, and shading during the inking process? Huh? Why would anybody sketch so much detail and texture just to erase it? Can we recognize that this doesn't make any sense? Because yeah, chicken and the egg, right? The sketch has to come before the inking. You can't just erase the ink. It doesn't work that way. So the inking looks like it took place on top of a sketch, except it wasn't this sketch because this sketch is much more refined out. And there's this pillar here that is not here. So we have more full page sketch turned into a spread. Again, exact same strokes and a lot got erased. Same point, except half his abs became an arm. Do you see how jacked up this arm is? This guy's arm on his left is not holding her waist because the arm is going straight down. Your arm would have to break to be able to hold her waist at this perspective. Come on. Everyone makes anatomy mistakes, but let's be honest. If you can render this well, you're not going to be drawing bro's arm like that. Like, you supposedly can render too well to be able to muck it up that badly. But again, everybody makes mistakes. But all of this other evidence is so damning. It continues, the construction lines on the hand makes little to no sense. For a hand with such an angle, random circles would bring no one anywhere. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Again, with the tats that lack structure and morph with the hair. The dragon is going into the hair. Some more examples of AI nonsense. What's happening here? This mystery fishing pole that disappears behind this pillar is also melting into the bucket. There are ribs that intersect into a skull where a femur bone intersects also into the same skull. This guy's shoes, sandals don't strap properly because this would fall off. The hair strands are odd. Oh, the double boob shadow. Love that one. Is it a hair or is it a strap? Yeah. We got even more. Oh my god, OPK with the receipts. Hallucinating logo, fingers under the bowl. Whoa, what's happening here? Why are none of the fingers holding the bow? What is this tattoo supposed to be? Just wondering. Because it's like dragon scales, but if you look closer, maybe it's a fish. But the fish is going through handcuffs, and there is deer antlers up here for some reason. And I don't know what this is supposed to be. And then what is happening here? Spoiler alert, a whole load of nonsense. Suddenly, pretty okay skeletons. 2 even. What was the need and why are they so fundamentally different? If the perfect writing and arrows aren't already a red flag. By the way, the perfect writing and arrows are, for me, like a huge giveaway. Also, you can see that this was like chopped up and put back together because like this arrow doesn't actually attach to this line. Neither does this arrow and this line. It looks like the canvas was cut diagonally like this and then the 2 characters were like stitched. It continues, a lot of this is just corny. Waist-hip ratio without an actual measure. A torso axis that bends. Shoulder width as if we didn't have eyeballs to see that already. I have to be fair, a lot, if not all, is just confusing me. And what's happening with the torso axis? We have more. Hair follows cranial structure. Nice. Math time. If head is 1 unit and neck is 1.2 units, what percentage of giraffe is the man? Head height, 1 unit. Neck length, 2 units. That's crazy, bro. You got a hell of a neck over there. The jawline angle thing makes no sense in the way it's described. Usually you'd measure from the point of the ear on the outside angle. Yeah, what is this? This looks a lot like somebody who doesn't know what notes to take, just pointing out the obvious or hallucinating answers. I used to leave notes to myself in my sketchbooks too, a lot. It's a pretty normal thing to do when you study or see mistakes, train, whatever, but we have to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of those? Honestly, delving into this person's page is pretty funny because it's just a spot the difference game where you take a look at the art pieces and you take a look at the sketches and you try to see if they make sense. And the answer is a lot of times it doesn't. And again, my personal theory is this person is generating stuff with AI. Interesting also is you don't see a single comment mentioning AI, which I think this person filters their comments out, where, you know, legit artists are getting weirdos in the comments being like, oh, is this AI generated, whatever. So it's interesting to see when somebody is actually having artwork that looks very AI generated to see not a single comment mentioning it, which typically, again, means they filter their comments, right? But here, you know, we have a woman putting her hand on a guy's head and he's kind of squatting, and we have guidelines. Note the guidelines for the woman because some of these aren't making sense. We have a line through nothing. Like typically if you do like a guideline like this, you would draw it like through the hip, but this is below the hip. We have a guideline above the knee and like a square for where she's standing, I guess. And then guidelines across the shoulders that don't even meet the shoulders. Maybe this is for the face. We've got this lovely art piece here where we have a real buff dude holding a really frail looking woman who is unclothed, but we've got 4 toes and this pseudo toe. What is happening here? That doesn't look right. So anyways, let's go to the next part of this call out where OP writes the money thing. I don't want to engage much in that part, not only because I don't understand and know the whole details, but legally this is iffy. What I'm thinking, however, is that this looks like a follower buying service. One of the accounts that he helped got suspended, and without a reason given, I could only chalk it up to that, allegedly. I can't say this for sure. His posts on the subject are a load of corny, quote, I started using purpose and made so much money, end quote. Please don't listen to those people, even and especially if they show bank screenshots or flex their wealth. Like, what? I think we're beyond trusting influencers nowadays. I just want to add, there's always an interesting theory. The theory is that the more somebody talks about something, the less they have. The more somebody talks about money, the more insecure they are about it, and the less they have of it, possibly. Right? But it continues. What is clear, however, is that Alexis sees his clients and his viewers as a cash grab. So, all right, okay, we live in a capitalist society, I get it. But lying and scamming people out of their money using AI is utterly wrong. I am not sure either how claiming a certain money amount and promising the same to your clients can be legal in France, which is where the artist is from. Because yes, this person has a bunch of ebooks where he apparently will teach you how to get better at drawing. A bunch of ebooks that teach you how to make money as an artist. And he will teach you how to grow to 300,000 followers as an artist. Where again, I think educational tutorial information can be really helpful to people that are looking to walk in your shoes. But in my opinion, this is a bit deceptive because he can't teach you how to grow to 300,000 followers as an artist because he grew to 300,000 followers by, in my personal opinion, generating images and possibly tweaking them a little bit if he feels like it to post it onto his Instagram to garner followers. It isn't like he drew it himself. So people who purchase his course are purchasing it assuming he drew everything himself and he has some secret sauce. And maybe he can teach you how to grow an AI generated page to 300,000 followers, but not as an artist. And the same thing of how to improve your art, whatever. Can this person draw? Possibly. On his page, I haven't seen art videos of him drawing. A lot of the images look really AI generated to me. So this post continues, do I believe that Alexis can draw? Yes, he clearly could draw before. I don't believe, however, that he genuinely does it anymore. That's it for me. This person has 300,000 followers. Whether they're real or not, please share so as many people as possible can see this post. And reminder, please don't bully, harass, etc. this person. And then OP adds, moreover, I have been aware of stealing allegations against his second account, Arakushisu_11. In fact, that actually wasn't his second account. That was actually his main account that he just rebranded, from my knowledge. Look at this page, alexis.dgbn, the Arakushu account gone now, right? All of these graphics made by Arakushisu_11. All of these made by Arakushisu. Here, how I hit 100,000 followers as an artist. It's literally his page. But yeah, do you guys remember that name? If we scroll down, do you guys remember this art style? Yeah, it's the same dude. It's the same dude. But this post is a screenshot from a user who writes, AI artist Arakushisu on Instagram stole my art and put an AI filter on it. Because Arakushisu, with this type of artwork, where again, on his page, that watermark is right there, right? There's so much generative AI tells in all of the artwork. This piece, we've got Toji from JJK holding a gun, right? And all the gun ones are always really funny to me because they muck it up so bad. There are 4 fingers. Where is the 5th finger? The 5th finger would be visible behind where the trigger is, but there is a thumbnail somehow in the handle of the gun. Also, there's 3 fingernails. The middle finger, no fingernail for some reason. We've got this drawing where her pinky is very long and Play-Doh-like. Interesting that this character has large hoop earrings that are not actually in the ear. They're just floating. This character is also missing a pinky finger. Happens, sometimes you forget. This guy is not holding the gun properly. He's got all 5 fingers on this side of the handle, which maybe you want to hold it that way. I don't know. And I don't really know what's happening with the hands here, to be honest. And again, the reason why pointing out this is also very important is because this person in the past has taken commissions. I don't know if they do it currently, but from screenshots that one of you guys actually provided me a year ago, these were the commission prices as of a year ago. A single portrait was 120 euros, half body was 280, full body or a duo piece, 400 euros. They also claimed to have generated over $100,000 from their artwork. And these were some DMs where somebody was like, hey, is there any AI involved? And the artist said no AI. So he's claiming in DMs to people that no AI was used. And it goes even deeper. Somebody posted their artwork on r/isthisiai. Writing, do you think that Arakushisu's art is AI generated? The style doesn't convince me at all. This was one of the art pieces that was posted. Again, she has 3 fingers. Where's the 4th one? Maybe the thumb can be hidden from this angle. Another one of the art pieces. Again, earlier we already found out this was another person's artwork that was fed through AI. And a user says it's AI. It was the Synth ID watermark, which is embedded into the pixels. Well, they took the image and asked Google Gemini if there's a Synth ID, and it said all or part of this image was made with Google AI. That's not a good look. And it actually gets even wilder because somebody in the comments did even more digging. A user writes, the whole man is AI. These are generated images, not photos. So there is a photo of Alexis cooking, where the cooking one is a little interesting. Maybe it's because of the filter that's applied on it, etc. But we got some funky looking avocados. Homie, your avocados are spoiled. I wouldn't eat that. But we've got a bajillion limes in a bowl. Which, I mean, maybe bro really likes limes for some reason. We've got chopped onions and a glass container of more chopped onions and a really big pile of cilantro over here. But what's pretty damning is this one. And look at all the comments being turned off. It's Alexis apparently working. Oh boy, what's happening with the wall? Okay, so Alexis's ink artworks are hung up on the wall, which, oh boy, there's already weird things going on with these art pieces as well. I don't believe that you drew this, homie. Like, I'm not believing that. Again, it's the same girl holding the gun, right? But what in the world is happening with the fingers? What is happening here? Why are the finger digits like bending? She's got a broken middle finger. But look at the wall. The wall has a recession in it, a really minor recession of like 1 inch. And then it goes behind this art piece of a hot anime man, and the recession is gone. Walls don't work like this. Also, the table just looks weird. Like there is this table shelf thing, right? And the lamp is like kind of wedged into it. It's insets. Maybe this is probably like a 6-inch inset, maybe like 5 probably. Look at this side of the table though. That goes all the way off to where it gets cut off in the image. So it looks like your edge of your desk is super long here. This is like maybe like 10 inches, right? This is like 6, maybe 5. Now you could be like, oh, maybe it's uneven. Maybe one side's like shorter, like has less depth than the other side. Except there's a wooden beam on the top that connects all of it. So your wooden beam would have to be diagonal, right? Like narrow on one end and then widens at the other end in order to accommodate such like an uneven depth on either side of your desk. That's odd. All right, and let's look at the video. We have this video. Let's click it. Let's look. There's a wind blowing this piece up, which first off, where is the wind coming from and why is the wind only blowing one of your art pieces and not all 4 of these? Because all 4 look to be only tacked up in the top parts. But secondly, where is the recession in the wall? It's gone. We have him in a tub with the reflection of a blonde woman taking a picture of him or filming him in the tub sauna thing. Okay. This video. The video of this woman painting looks really AI generated. It does the thing where the art piece disappears behind her paintbrush. Like in this freeze frame, where did the tip of the paintbrush go? In an actual video, if you were to paint like this, if you were to freeze it, half your brush wouldn't disappear. And then it reappears again. Well, wait, let's continue. Because there's a video of the food in the room. Not this one, the next one. The smoke coming out from the cups. Just take a look at that. Why are there white lines streaming upwards from your teacups, dude? Sorry, it looks like tapeworms are rising out of there. I wouldn't drink that. And somebody grabbed a screenshot out of this video, the video where there was these random lines steaming out of the tea. But one dead giveaway that you can tell is there's these 2 dumb waiters, or is that what they're called? Like the whatever metal covering for the food, right? Just take a look at the reflections in it because these 2 reflections don't match. This one features a bookshelf that's black. So there's like maybe dark covered spines in the bookshelf. This reflection has 2 bookshelves next to each other. And then there's that door. And then here, it kind of looks like there's a reflection of somebody maybe holding a camera like sideways like this. And that's just not featured in this reflection. There is still that black item here, but it's now vertical. So it looks like bro flipped his phone vertical and that was reflected here. But these 2 reflections are not of the same thing. They are distorted. And there's a little white thing in this reflection that isn't featured here. And you really can't make the argument maybe the white thing is the cup because the cup is not in the spot that would cause this reflection. The cup is over here. So that's weird. So, I mean, at the end of the day, right? Don't bully, don't harass anybody. A lot of people might be like, well, why are you talking about this? Because it's known that this person has been using generative AI in their process for like a hot minute. A lot of people, me included, actually didn't know he rebranded. But secondly, there's a lot of new people trying to commission artists, new authors, etc. And they may not know that this person has this history. So again, in his power, right? Don't bully or harass anybody, but now you know. So if you want to commission this person after knowing all of this, go for it. If you don't want to, then don't do it. It's up to you. It's your money. It's your power. At the end of the day, I'm not your mom. I can't tell you what to do. I can just tell you to be a good person. Yeah. So with that, if you like this video, I appreciate it. If you like and subscribe, don't forget to check me out at Etsy. Sorry, also, my necklace, I have really sensitive skin, and this necklace, I made it. I really like it, so I was wearing it, but it's been making my neck itch, and I've been scratching it over the course of this filming, so I think that's why my neck is getting redder and redder. It really sucks because, like, my skin around my neck is so sensitive, so when I scratch it, it looks like I have hickeys, but if you restart this video, you'll see that this isn't there, okay? But yeah, I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays, 6 p.m. PST, or Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. PST, where I do a podcast with my friends. So check me out there or in another one of my videos. Peace.